Hey YouTubers, this is Bob. It's so good to be back with you guys. I know a lot of you have been waiting for answers from me to letters, and I'm sorry I've had a delay in getting back to so many of you. I've been taking a little time off here. I've been in mourning. One of my beloved teachers from many years ago died. And I just found out about it. She died a few weeks ago, but I hadn't heard it till just last week. And it was devastating for me. My teacher's name was Rusty Kloss. And she was my drama teacher from high school. I met Rusty in September of 1982. And I was with her all 4 years of high school studying drama. And after high school, we became friends. We used to go to lunch and dinner, and I'd visit her house. I came to know all of her family. She was an amazing, gifted, and talented person. I think a lot of the person I am today and the things I've been able to do are because of her influence. She was 81 years old when she died, and she had a stroke. What's really strange about it all is that for the last few weeks she's been on my mind. And I kept thinking, I need to call Rusty. I haven't talked to her in a long time. I should go visit her. It was strange the day I found out that she died. I woke up and literally on the floor next to my bed was a CD that she gave me. And it was strange because I haven't listened to it in a while. Her son Brian is a musician, and he did a wonderful CD a few years ago. Rusty gave me one as a present, and I love it. But what's strange is I hadn't had that CD out because my CD player is broken. And there it was, just next to my bed, strangely. I thought, how strange. It's a sign I need to call Rusty. When I first met Rusty, I was 14 years old, and it was my freshman year of high school. For those of you who've gone to high school, you know how stressful it can be. For those of you watching in another country, in the United States, we generally have high school. We call it grades 9 through 12, which is approximately ages 14 through 18. And it was my first year at this new school when I first met her. Now, to kind of give you guys a sense of the setting and of the times, this was 1982. It was during the Reagan years, and conservatism was sweeping the country, and clothing was conservative, values were conservative. That first day I had 6 classes. We call them 6 periods. And all day long I had been going to class, and you know, all my teachers in those days were conservative. All day long I'd seen people in jackets and ties and suits. And I thought, wow, I'm in the big school now. It was a little more formal than middle school. Well, here it was, 6th period. By this point I'm burned out in the day, and I thought, I am done for the day. At least I get to go to drama class. Well, what was interesting is that my schedule said theater. So I actually had to find my way to the theater. And that's where we had drama class. I thought that was wild. I hadn't even considered that we would actually meet in a theater. I was thinking it'd be a classroom, we'd study drama. But it was actually in a theater. And I remember when I walked in, there were people sitting in the chairs, and there was a big stage. And I didn't see any teacher. I thought, maybe she won't show up. Maybe we can leave early. Well, a few moments later, in walks Rusty, who we called Mrs. Claus, of course. And I was immediately shocked by her appearance. I remember clearly as if it were yesterday. She was wearing gray slacks, and then the top she was wearing was a flowing sort of caftan, kind of like my dashiki shirts, and it was done in white with gray and purple patterns on it. It looked almost like hippie-like. And she had a beautiful gold pendant around her neck with theater masks. And I thought, wow, this is something different. She looks kind of hip, kind of cool. Instead of being so shocked and mortified, I was actually thinking in my mind, this might be kind of a cool experience. Before she even spoke, I already sensed that I was going to like her. And I remember she handed out the syllabus. She said, "Welcome to Drama 101. I'm Rusty Claus." And she handed out the syllabus. And on the syllabus it said, we're going to study the history of theater, the Greek tragedies and dramas, and we'd study Renaissance work, we'd study Shakespeare. And when I saw Shakespeare on the schedule, I thought to myself, oh my God, no, not Shakespeare again. I was already studying it for English class. So in English class, we were going to study Julius Caesar that year. And in drama, I had to study Macbeth. And I thought, oh no, not more Shakespeare. And somebody raised their hand and said, do we really have to do Shakespeare? We hate Shakespeare. And Rusty said, why do you hate Shakespeare? I said, because it's boring. She says, have you ever performed Shakespeare? Have you ever seen it performed? And we'd all said no. And Rusty said, well, Shakespeare's not really meant to be read. It's meant to be experienced. Later that year, I did learn a lot about it. Well, YouTubers, I'm in the park now, and a sudden thunderstorm has come up. That's okay. I don't mind it. My umbrella's broken, but hey, we got a great canopy of trees here. Anyways, I was telling you about Rusty and the first day I met her. And I remember after she handed out the syllabus, she said, well, my name is Rusty Claus, and you can call me Rusty. We were shocked. A teacher let us call her by her first name. That was unheard of back then. And she said, I thought, I'm going to get to know you and you should get to know me. So I thought if you wanted to ask me some questions, I'd be glad to answer them. Well, being a bunch of precocious teenagers, we decided to take full advantage of that. And somebody decided to kind of try to stress her out a little bit. And they said, Rusty, how old are you? And she said, nonchalantly, I'm 53 years old. I was born in 1929. Any other questions? Well, this was really amazing. Not only did she not even worry about telling us our age, and she was so casual about it. I remember thinking to myself, this lady is pretty cool. Well, the rain's coming down pretty furious now. That's okay. It's just a little water. What's it going to hurt? Anyways, as I was telling you about Rusty, so one of the other teenagers in the class said, what's your religion? And without missing a beat, Rusty said, I'm a Unitarian Universalist. I thought, what? What is that? I expected her to say Catholic or Baptist or Methodist. I'd never heard of a Unitarian. Somebody said, well, what's a Unitarian? What do you believe? And she said, well, here's my religion in a nutshell. I believe that there is a force from which all life comes, and everything that exists emanates from that force. And at the end, all things return to it. And we're all part of it. Now that was some deep philosophy. I'd never heard spirituality discussed in those terms. I was even more intrigued. And so began my next 4 years of knowing and working with an amazing teacher. You see, Rusty didn't just teach me about drama, though we studied that a lot. She taught me about life. And she taught me that if you understand drama, you understand life, because drama is about life. And there's that old saying that life imitates art and art imitates life. And I really came to know that through knowing Rusty. She changed my world, and I'll never forget her. One day when I was at school, as teenagers are subject to do, I had a terrible day and a mood swing and showed up at play practice. We were doing the show, You Can't Take It With You. And I played a Kolenkov, the Russian ballet teacher. Anyways, I came in to practice, and Rusty had a homework area set up. So when you weren't actively on stage, you had to be there studying your lines or working on homework. She ran a tight ship. And I came in, I was slamming my books down. She said, "You look all distressed today." And I said, "I am. I've had it. I can't deal with stuff." I think I was upset about algebra. I didn't do well in an algebra test. I never was good at math. And Rusty said, "Come with me." I said, "What?" "Come with me," she said. I thought, oh, now I'm in trouble for something. So she took me around the corner and she said, "Read this." And on the wall was a poster, and it was called the Desiderata. I'm going to put a link down here below so you can go read that poem. Rusty was the person who introduced it to me. She said, "This is kind of one of my credos of my life, and I thought maybe it would help you." And as I read that poem, I calmed down and I started to sense that maybe peace was a choice. Maybe I couldn't change my grades on my algebra test, but I could choose how I reacted. I could choose to live in peace and to find success continually and to not give up. Ever since, wherever I've lived, I've put up a poster of the Desiderata. And in every single home I've had, every time I put it up, I always say a silent prayer for Rusty and thanking God and Goddess for her introducing me to that poem. I could talk for hours about all the things that I learned from her. You know, one of the things, a funny story that I also remember is one time I had to wear a costume in a play that I was in. And it was a Shakespearean outfit, and it had a cape that was blue and green. And I said, "This is ugly. You can't mix blue and green." She said, "Really, why not?" I said, "Because it's just not done." Honestly, I don't think I was the fashion guru of the time. But somehow I just believed that. She said, "Where did you get that idea?" I said, "I don't know. I just always heard it. You don't wear blue and green together." And Rusty, you know, she was one of these people. She never forced her view on anybody. She just offered you ways to see the world. And she said, "Well, have you ever been outside on a beautiful day and looked up and seen the trees and the sky?" I said, "Oh, yeah." She says, "Isn't that lovely?" I said, "Yeah." She says, "Did you ever say the trees clash with the sky?" And I thought, wow, that's true. I've never thought the trees clash with the sky. It looks natural. It's in harmony. And Rusty said, see, so blue and green go together. That's just one of her many teachings. There's so much I could talk forever about her. I'm going to really, really miss her. I know some of you are saying, oh, Bob, she was older, she was in her 80s. And anyways, you're a psychic. Why are you upset? You can talk to her. Yeah, I know. In fact, I've already received messages from her, and I know she's on the other side. But I still miss her here in the flesh. I still miss being able to sit down and talk to her. For any of you watching who have met her, you know what I'm talking about. You know the type of person she was. Rusty gave and gave and gave and gave so much energy. She was always creative. She was a creator. One day I came into the theater and I went back to the green room where she was sorting out stuff. And she looked kind of down. I said, Rusty, how you doing? She says, oh, I'm okay. I said, you don't look okay. What's going on? And she says, well, Bob, I'm just a little down. I said, yeah, why? She said, well, the play finished. I always get a little depressed when a play finishes. It's like, it's like a death in a sense. Something we birthed and created is now done. I thought, wow, I can understand that. Yeah, it is kind of like that, isn't it? A few minutes later, she said, but I'm reviewing scripts. We're going to do another show in the next week. I'm going to start casting. That was Rusty. She never stayed down for long. And sure enough, she was back to it. Casting calls. She always said, and those of you who knew her know this, there are no small parts, only small actors. She helped people to get outside of themselves, not to get so egocentric. You might have had the lead role, but you were no more important than the person who had a one-liner or even a walk-on. She said none of this could exist unless everybody does their part. And so I came to understand that the interconnectedness of a production. And I also came to understand the interconnectedness of life. How, for example, that little bird over there is no less important than me. You might say, oh, it's just a little bird, it can't even speak. But that bird has a part in the ecosystem. I think a lot of my understanding of philosophy and the interconnectedness of life I got from Rusty. She was amazing. I'm really, really going to miss her. The last few days have been very, very hard for me. But thank God, I know she's over in the light. She's at peace. And if I know Rusty, she's already putting together a production on the other side. Boy, I bet she's got a great cast of characters. James Dean, Marilyn Monroe, all the great actors. Believe me, I know her, and I know she's already working on it. Well, guys, the following is just a little clip that I put together just to show you her picture, and it's done in memorial to her. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you, Rusty, for your example. Thank you for blessing my life. I'm a richer, better, happier, stronger, person because of you. I will never, ever forget you or all that you taught me.
Just yesterday morning, they let me know you were gone. Suzanne, the plans we made put an end to you. I walked out on the morning and I wrote down the song. I just can't remember who to send it to. I've seen fire and I've seen rain. I've seen sunny days that I thought would never end. I've seen lonely times when I could not find a friend. But I always thought that I'd see